Alright, so welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be going through all the stuff that I bought at the open house of my train club, so let's just get right into everything. So first we'll go into the pieces of rolling stock. This is a interesting Coca-Cola tank car. It was $1. Bought it because it was interesting, and some friends thought it was an interesting thing. The other freight car that I bought is actually in here. This one was slightly more expensive. It was more expensive, well, as expensive as some of the engines. It was $5, but I love cats, so I decided I needed to get the cat box car, even if it was a bit expensive, just because there's something interesting that I really like. And something else is that those and a few of these engines are going to be going away until a few months, just because of other reasons, so you won't see them for a while, but I'll point out which ones that they are. So, let's get into more of the engines now. So we'll start with this stuff that's already out. First is this Lifelike F40 PH Union Pacific. I used to have one of these, but I got rid of it for reasons. And one of my friends decided it would be a fun thing to try and convince me to buy it, so I did, and now I have that. That's also one of the ones that's going to be going away. Next up is an Athearn van drive switcher. I've actually wanted one of these for a really long time. It needs new bands, but I think it will be really fun to use once I get those new bands on. So this one will be staying. The next one will be going away. It's this 060 switcher. I thought it was really interesting. It was like $5, as a lot of the stuff was. Don't have many steam engines or tank engines, and I thought a slightly bigger engine would be interesting. So that will be going away for some time. The next one will also be going away. It's another Athearn van drive RDC. I actually got this one because one of my relatives thought it would be interesting to get for me as a Christmas gift, so that's why that one will be going away. So we'll go for that later. Save these few for last. Next up, I actually bought this Mantua Force Xl. I actually want to make it into the Sierra 3 from Back to the Future to go with my DeLorean. And I've wanted to do this for a while, but I just haven't been able to get a Force Xl cheap, and this one was $10, so I actually got something that I can start another project on. Next up is another steam engine. It's a little 240. I've also always really liked these things, and have finally gotten one. And I don't know if most of these engines work. We'll test them later. Next up is one of the other few diesels I got. It's a Santa Fe SD45. I thought it was just really interesting. I don't have that many big SDs, and I really like them, so I decided I really wanted to get one. Now onto the last few things. This is a Southern Pacific cab forward that I bought for $10. This one does not work. I was told that, and it was tested, so I'm probably going to have to work on that, but we'll test it with all the other stuff. And finally is this Santa Fe Pacific, which I got for $5. I didn't take the tag off this yet. This one is also apparently broken. That is everything that I bought. So I'll move the other stuff back over here. And now we'll go test out all of the engines that I bought. Alright, so I'm going to be starting this with engines that I'm least confident in for running to most confident in. This is one of the two that I was told didn't work, so just test it out. I'll give it a fair bit of power. Yeah, it doesn't seem to want to spark to life, so I'll have to work on that a bit, but still, a cab forward for $10. So let's go on to the next engine. Okay, so next up is this Rivera C240 Pacific. I was told that this one didn't run, so I'm not expecting it to work. Giving it some power. Yeah, I don't think this one's gonna run. So let's go on to the next engine. Okay, so now let's start testing out some of the engines that I haven't tried out yet or heard about. So let's start with this Lifelike F40. Seems like it wants to try and start. Okay, I'm seeing flickers from the light. I think all this needs is a good cleaning, and it'll be ready to run. So let's go on to the next engine. This next one I don't think will run, but I'll try it anyway, because I'm pretty sure the bands are rotted. So yeah, it runs, but it just needs some new bands and some service, and it should be a good engine. So let's go on to the next engine now. Alright, so next up is this Mantua Force Xl. I bought this to actually try and turn into the Back to the Future engine. I'm just realizing that it actually has a knuckle coupler in the back already. So let's see how it'll run. It needs a lot of cosmetic work. It appears it does run. It's really, really loud. It's actually getting quieter now that I'm running it. But yeah, that one works. It needs a lot of work, but it's a really cool engine, and I can't wait to do some work onto it. So let's go on to the next engine. Alright, so next up is this Rivera C240. I'm now realizing I bought a whole bunch of Rivera C. This engine had the drive shaft not in the engine, so I reinstalled that quickly. So let's see how it runs, or if it even runs at all. Wow, it actually seems to run really smoothly. It's a little bit noisy, but it runs great, so it'll be a fun engine to have around. Now, on to the next engine. Okay, so next up is this Athearn RDC. I actually have one of these already. This was actually a gift from a relative again, so let's see how it runs. I think it might run well, because it actually has bands that aren't dry rotted, so let's see. And it appears to run. It is a little bit noisy again, but with a little bit of work, it should be a good engine. So let's go on to the next engine. Now, the second to last engine up is the Santa Fe SD45. I think it'll work because it's an Athearn, and they're pretty much like bricks, so let's see how it'll work. It does sound really loud, but it does work, and it'll be a great engine to have around. So let's go on to the last engine. Here's the final engine. It's the Aristocrat 060. I've actually never had any Aristocrat engines, so I have no clue. So let's just see if it'll run. And it appears it does run somewhat. Well, it's an interesting engine, even as a working light. So that's it for testing engines, and thanks for watching. And if you want to see another video of just any of my trains, click on the screen around now.